Hello, everyone. Leslie Klein here, going live on all my social media here. I just finished an interview with Kristin Geeslin, and I'm just gonna bring her on the screen here. Kristin is the mindful seer, all the way from the Gulf Coast of Florida. Kristin, welcome.
Thank you so much. I had a wonderful time.
We just finished an interview here for Good Vibes TV, and I just loved learning about Kristin, her background, 30 years with a Buddhist practice called Vajrayana, right? Did I say it right?
You did.
Buddhism. And you were telling me how you got introduced to that type of Buddhism in St. Pete at the temple there. So recount that.
Yeah, well, strangely enough, I was interested in meditation, and there was an opportunity at the Temple of the Living God to hear a talk by a Buddhist monk, a Rinpoche. And I went and I heard the talk, and there was a teaching that was given. Now, I didn't know until about 5 or 7 years later what that teaching really was in its more expanded version, but I was drawn to it, and I started doing it as it was given at that time at that presentation.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that got you started into your Buddhist practice?
Well, at that time, I just did that. It was just like one really small fragment without, a lot of content. So it didn't really start the practice, but I feel like it was like seeds. It was sort of like a trail back to someplace I think I might have been in a prior lifetime, actually.
Interesting. So we were talking about raising our vibration and how you use compassion and empathy as a way to raise your vibration regarding interaction with somebody else. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, sure. So, we all have buttons, we all have places that we have had shock or trauma or whatever. And sometimes when we're dealing with people or institutions, places, things, whatever, we get our buttons pushed. And it's very natural to try to react. We might naturally react. And so if you're able to think, oh, well, maybe that person's not having the greatest day either. Or if you can think, if I react, this is just going to get worse. So if you just have like that pause moment where some compassion for the fact that we're all human beings just trying to do the best we can most of the time on a day-to-day basis, then we have an opportunity to respond rather than react, and we have more actual control over our lives.
When you were talking about that, having empathy, like basically walking in someone else's shoes and realizing they're doing the best that they know to do. They're doing the best that they can, and have compassion for that's where they're at, and accepting people for where they're at, not knowing that they can improve if they want to, but that we're all connected, and we're all family.
Yeah, ultimately we're sharing one small planet that's getting smaller by the minute. So the more we can figure out how to manage ourselves with decency and dignity, then the better off we're all going to be.
Now, you mentioned something that you call Bism, and I really love your structure. I guess just structure for helping someone grow spiritually, and actually not just only on the spiritual level. So tell us more about about Bism.
Yeah, so Bism is a way of keeping the focus on ourselves, because in this world, we can influence what happens with ourselves more than with anything that's going on out there. So the Bism starts with the body, which also in my system includes how you earn your income and where you live, your emotional life, your intellectual life, your spirit soul journey, and your mastermind is your relationship with your higher power. So in the capitalist culture that we live in, there's a lot of focus, and especially, in the last few, decades on, how we look and how we smell and what car we drive and all that. So there's a lot of focus and a lot of social media and media attention on the external. But at the end of the day, it's what's going on inside of us that generally is what dictates or influences how happy we are. So if we're looking for peace and happy and satisfaction in our lives, then having the internal focus is far more empowering.
Yes, definitely. Now, you shared real quick your bowl, and what you had a special name
Oh,
for
yeah.
it.
I call this the baking bowl of belief, because everything that comes into our lives is coming in based on our beliefs. And so when I do readings for people, I like for them to keep that in mind. I don't predict the future, but I use the cards actually to help tune into what's going on with the BEISM. And because of my intuitive abilities and the way the system has worked out, I can do like a 5-frequency wellness checkup with the cards, which is really fun.
Yeah. Now, we picked a card for the Good Vibes viewers. Can we pick another one, just because I love picking cards?
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Let's message for whoever's watching right now, or whoever will be watching.
Do you want to come up with the question?
Just what do we need to know now?
Guidance for the highest good?
For the highest and best good of all concerned. Yeah.
Oh, this is great. Okay. It's so interesting that these little white squirrel cards are coming out, because these cards are very like they just tell you what to do. There's no mystery. Okay. So it says to be bold. And then, this means to move out of your comfort zone. In order to really have a fulfilling, enriching life, it's important to take some risks. So I'm going to read all the words. It says, confront your nemesis, okay, which is whatever it is inside yourself that is holding you back from living your best life. Trust yourself, and have courage. And it talks about size, success, dogs, meh. Basically, don't let the big dogs discourage you. Or in your own mind, what are the barking, voices in your own head that might be holding you back? Let's turn down the noise on that and see what you can do to actually take action to see what's possible in your life. Yeah.
I love that beautiful message. Very. And talking about being out of our comfort zone. I know, well, for me, every time I do one of these shows or go on live and stuff, it's still out of my comfort zone.
Right. I did a lot of Facebook Live for a couple of years, but I've been off for a while. So yeah, it's relearning. And also I just feel like it's time for different messaging. The post-COVID time, it feels like we're coming into just this new vista of open space and creative possibility. I don't think anybody's exactly sure what they're going to be doing or how things are going to go. So there's just sort of like a tension of excitement, and it's like, ooh, how's this going to go? Yeah.
Well, all the more reason to realize that we have the power of co-creation, that we're not victims, and that we are co-creating this world together on a micro level and on a macro level, based on what we're doing on a micro level, right?
Yes. And I'm so excited for this, because this is one of the themes that I really see coming together, is that more and more people are finding their soul families and their soul collaborations, and that no, we are not alone. And that, yes, as we join together, we really do have the power to create, a world that we'll be happy to give to our children and our grandchildren.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to put your information on here for anyone who wants to find out more about you. They can go to Facebook, Kristin Geeslin MS, or you said if they did a search for the Mindful Seer on Facebook, they'll find your professional page, your business page.
Correct. They sure will. Yes, they will.
And also, do you want me to put out your phone number if they want to text you?
Yes,
okay?
please. Yes,
All
absolutely. Right. Thank you so much.
So you can text Kristin, and she'll follow up with a phone call so that you could schedule a time to get a reading or find out if the Bism program that she does is something that you would be interested in. So I want to thank you, Kristin, for this post-interview chat. I'm so excited. Next week is when I expect your episode to air. So everybody watch for Tuesday of next week. You'll get the whole episode. Kristin, now because we are live, I do see that there are some people that are watching. And if you guys want to mention anything in the comments or have a question, you can put that in the comments and I'll see them. And we can ask Kristin any questions you might have. And make any comments that you would like. I see you got 2 thumbs up so far.
Okay, awesome.
But I don't see any comments, so people are being shy. But again, Kristin, thank you so much for this opportunity to interview you, and I will be letting you know when the show drops. And thank you so much.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you, Leslie. Peace and happy.
Peace and happy. You take care. Thank you.
My pleasure.